Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my Worlds preview. Worlds is 1 week away, so we're going to look at all the athletes and see who we think is going to win everything. You guys are lucky because I went and made a whole entire website for you guys to make your own predictions. At the end of the Worlds, if you manage to pick a person in the top 3, you get a point. And if you manage to pick if they're first, second, or third as well, you get 2 points. And the top 2 people that get the most points by the end of it will get a free t-shirt from Ye3. So go ahead and vote. I've got some resources down below to have a look at if you want to do your own research. I've linked down below a spreadsheet with all the highest difficulty, all the highest scores. Really handy if you want to see who's got the most scoring potential, anything. And also Zhoxxy did a little article highlighting pretty much the same information, but in a much more readable format. So let's get straight into it. Okay, I'm taking this off. This feels a bit silly. Before we get straight into it, I'm going to quickly show you this website that I made. So it takes you straight to where you can pick gold, silver, and bronze for all around, and then it will take you through floor, pommel, rings, vault, hair bars, high bar, and then it's going to ask for an email just so if you do manage to win, I know who to contact. If you jump over here, this is the leaderboard. Everyone here that has submitted something has got a 0 because the finals haven't been completed yet. But this is my favorite page, the stats page. So this breaks down where everyone has put their predictions to. So out of 17 submissions, we can see that 8 people have put Daiki in gold positioning for all around. Definitely get amongst it. The more people that do this, the cooler the stats will be and everything. So yeah, linked right down below. First category, all around. So looking at the top D scores that we've had throughout the season, these 5 here, Daiki, Asher, Zhang, Angel, and Okashinosuke. And if we're looking at the score leaders, Daiki leads with an 85.466. Okashinosuke is second with 85.164. And when you look at the spreadsheet of the top scores of the season, these two are dominating. So you can see out of the top 10 scores in the season for those competing at the World Championship, these two athletes claim 9 out of the 10 spots. So if you see other spots on the screen, these athletes are not competing. Daiki and Oka are holding 9 out of the 10 spots. The other spot is belonging to another Japanese team member, Tomoharu, with 84.465. But of course, you can only have 2 athletes per country in one final, so one of these athletes will be missing out. And then we've got Jesse Moore, 83.7, Carlos Yulo, 83.632, and Asher Hong, 83.45. Honorable mentions for podium / top 8, I will say to watch out for William Emard and Felix Dolce, the Canadian boys. They could definitely sneak up. When we're talking about an all-around podium, we can't forget talking about Zhang Boheng. So Daiki and Zhang have had this rivalry back and forth for quite a few years now. For the longest time, it was either Daiki or Zhang that would take the all-around. So even though Zhang doesn't hold one of the top scores this season, he's definitely someone to look out for. Asher Hong and Carlos Yulo, definitely watch out for those two. They could easily take out that 3rd spot. But for my first top 3, I'm going to go with Jesse Moore in the 3rd spot. Jesse Moore is an Australian and he posted a massive 83.7 earlier in the season. Jesse was making a name for himself in the all-around back in the day, but during, I think it was a Commonwealth Games all-around final, he had to go out of it early with an injury, and it's only this last year where he's come back and he's looking really, really good. So I think he's going to shock a lot of people. And just to support my Australian brother, I'm not Australian, but it's the closest thing to New Zealand, I got to support Jesse and put him up there in 3. Number 2, I'm going to have with Okashinosuke. He's super consistent. And back when Daiki and Zhang were kind of battling it out for the first spot at the Olympics and World Champs, Oka kind of came out of nowhere and beat both of them. And just over the last year, he's shown that he's worthy of being in that top spot with all those top scores. But I have given the top spot to Daiki Hashimoto. He has the highest scoring potential and so much experience at the top. Honestly, if Oka had a slightly harder vault, I might have given it to him because he's just so clean and consistent, but Daiki has 1.6 extra in difficulty scoring potential, so I have to go with him. Moving on to floor, we have our D score leaders, Nelson, Harry, Luke, Jake, and Casimir Schmid with a 5.9. I wasn't expecting him to be up here, but he's definitely got a massive routine. And then our score leaders, Kazuki, Harry, Asher, Yahoya, and Carlos Yulo. If you need to pause at any moment to see the top D scores or the top total scores for each of the apparatus, definitely feel free to pause the screen at these moments. For my honorable mentions, I'm going to put Cameron Nelson up in the honorable mentions. I haven't quite got him in the top 3 just because he's competing a massive routine. He's got 2 triple backs in the same routine, a triple back pike and a triple back tuck. And the rest of the routine is not easy either. He's got a front full, double front, difficult connection, and it's like a second last pass. And his last pass is a double out full twist. Super difficulty. You can see why he's got the highest difficulty in the world. But to be able to compete that routine with the execution needed to beat everyone else, I don't know if he can do that. But I have chucked him in the honorable mentions just because he's got a massive routine. Kazuki Minami, if he hits his stride and sticks everything like we've seen him do on his Instagram stories, you never know. He could definitely pop into top 3. Jake Jarman, I'm really torn. I know a lot of people have him in the top 3, but I just don't know if he has the consistency to be all the way up there. And spoiler, there's already 2 athletes in UK that I have in top 3. So, and it's hard to also pick the Great Britain boys because Harry Hepworth, Luke Whitehouse, and Jake Jarman are all so good at floor, but one of them isn't going to be in the finals. For now, I've got Harry Hepworth at 3rd. To me, this spot was between him and Jake, but I feel like Harry is just a little bit more solid and consistent. So I've chucked him at 3. I've chucked my 2nd place at Carlos Yulo at the moment for floor. He is our reigning Olympic champ and multiple world champion on floor. And then for number 1, I have Luke Whitehouse. This guy has just been so consistent. And although he wasn't even in the top 5 scores of the season, he holds numbers 6 through 9, so the next 4 top scores. And he's just been so consistent. Even though he's competing a triple back and some really difficult stuff, he's been competing these skills for years now. Like back to back European champion. He's been competing that same triple back for years. I think he's got this one in the bag. Moving on to pommels. I think this definitely has to be the hardest one to medal in, or definitely the hardest one to win out of all the apparatus. We've got so many different pommel workers these days. We've got our top D score leaders here, and then our score leaders, Gabriel, Kurbanov, Patrick, Hiroto, and Mimikin. To me, pommel horse comes down to a battle versus young and old. In the old category, I've got Kurbanov, Wong, Patrick, and Brandon Dang. These guys aren't even that old. Like, Brandon Dang's actually 20, but they've at least competed in a seniors for a couple of years. But in the young squad, I've got Gabriel, Hamlet, Hong, and Mimikin. These guys are only 18 and 19. So a lot of these young guys, this will be their first world champs. So it's kind of a battle between experience and youth. Definitely a new wave of pommel work is coming through. But for 3rd place, I was going to give him first, but I've got Gabriel Targeta. He's got the highest score in the world at the moment. And he's had quite a few scores in the 15s, which is crazy. But at the Italian champs, he scored a 12-2. And I just don't know where he's at right now. And Italian champs was only like a couple weeks ago. So we'll have to see what he's looking like in qualifications, but at the moment I've got him in 3rd. So the young guys, that's 1 spot to the young guys. In 2nd place, I've got Kurbanov, just because he's got so much experience and he's been at the top of the leaderboard for so long. He's got 6.2 difficulty, and of course he is the reigning silver medalist, Olympic silver medalist on pommel. Number 1, I've got Hamlet Minukin. This kid is 18 years old, and the way he swings pommel is incredible. I've got some clips on the screen at the moment, but the clearance he has, the speed he has, this guy is amazing, and I think he's going to win it all. But pommel could definitely go so many different ways, and I'm not super confident in this podium, to be honest. Moving on to rings, we have our D score leaders in Courtney, Donnell, Land, Fairhats, and Ilya. I believe Courtney Tulloch's 6 was from a World Cup in the start of the season, which he had a Victorian in that routine. I doubt he'll have a Victorian at this World Champs just because it's so risky to do, so difficult of a skill. But we have our score leaders here, Donnell, Land, Fairhats, Adam, and Petronius is in there too. For me, honorable mentions, Courtney Tulloch definitely has the potential to score very well. Zhang Boheng, he wasn't in the top D score or the top total scores, but in the past he's been quite good on the rings. I have to mention Adam Asil here. He was a world champ in the past, and I love his celebrations. I really hope we're gonna see a stick on rings for this guy, because he has the best celebrations. In third place, I'm gonna give it to Donnell Wittenberg, just because he'll have the highest difficulty, and it really all depends on how well he can control his massive triple pike dismount. Number 2, Zhou Jinyuan. Although he's known for his parallel bars, this guy can definitely swing rings and has got plenty of rings medals under his belt too. And in first place, we have a newcomer on the world scene, Lan Jingyu. So this guy has the most top scores and is super consistent. I think he surprised a lot of people at the World Uni Games. Not many people knew who he was, but he came out smashing his rings. Vault. The hardest vault in the world, well, there's actually like 6 or 7 of them, is rated a 5.6 in difficulty value. All of these D-score leaders have one vault, which is rated the hardest in the code of points, and then another one just underneath. So that's Jake, Minky, Harry, Marty, Asher, and Shin. I have to share the leaderboard of the top scores, because we can see Jake and Arta dominating this list. Honorable mention for me is Harry Hepworth. He has medalled in major championships on vaults, and there's definitely a chance he could be doing 2 5.6 valued vaults. Not sure, that'd be cool to see though. And then Carlos Yulo is reigning Olympic vault champion as well. So I haven't got him in my top 3, but he definitely could be. Top 3, I've got Mahdi Al-Fatih from Iran, and he recently just competed a vault, which is now named after him. Yurchenko Fullen back out, massive vault. And I'm sure he's had a lot more time with this new vault, so I'll be keen to see how it looks here, but I'm sure it'll be good. The top 2 for me was always going to be between Jake and Arta, but for me, because Jake has the more difficulty, I have to give it to him, because for Arta to win, I think he really, really has to stick at least 1, maybe 2 of his vaults, and Jake Jarman definitely has the room to take a step or 2, like a small step, but this could easily go either way. Parallel bars, we have our D-score leaders, Zoe, Angel, Ferhat, and Noah. And then our score leaders, Zoe with a massive 15.566, well ahead of anyone else. Angel, Oka, Sinokai, and Ferhat. For me, honorable mentions has to go to Angel Barajas. He's near the top of the scoring potential, and if he has no mistakes, I'm pretty sure he'll be on the podium. And I'm going to mention Zhang Boheng here again, just because he's good all around. He's definitely, to me, he could sneak into a lot of these podiums, definitely a lot of apparatus finals. Parallel bars, I'm going to go with Oka Shinosuke. Even though he has the least difficulty out of all these people, he is super, super clean, super consistent, and has been showing to score very highly on parallel bars. Number 2, I'm going with another Japanese athlete. This is Sinogai Tomoharu. And this guy's consistently getting close to 15, so keep an eye out for him. And number 1, I think this might be number 1 for everyone, is Zhou Jinyuan. And you can see by his scoring potential and his actual scores that he's been posting this year, he's well ahead of everyone, and he has been well ahead of everyone for so many years now. So now we come to a very, very interesting final. The last but not least, high bar. High bar is really stacked. These guys are going for really, really hard routines, really hard connections, and it's hard to really predict even a top 8, to be honest, because I'm sure a lot of these guys that I have near the top won't even make it to finals, just because there's bound to be a few mistakes between these guys. We have our D score leaders in front of you now. Lots of scores over 6. We didn't really see that in the other apparatus much. And then our score leaders here, all 15 and above, or close to 15. Honorable mentions, I'm going to give to Anil Barajas. His routine is super hard, and I just don't know how consistent he can keep it. If he can cleanly do his routine, he'll definitely be in the top 3. But that stoop half to Suarez connection, as well as the Casina Coleman, as well as a Casina Coleman connection, 2 really difficult connections in one routine. He'll have to be super consistent to make it to the final and then win as well. Brody Malone has got a high difficulty score, but I don't think he's as consistent. We've seen some high scores at the USA Champs as well as some falls, but he has been world champ in the past on high bar, and I'm sure he'll at least make the finals. Milad Karimi, I'm going to put in here as an honorable mention as well, because he has a Casina Coleman and a few other hard skills as well. Sanugo Tomoharu, I'm going to put in honorable mentions just because his scores have been pretty high too. Third place, I've got my boy Jesse Moore again. Stoop half, like PRT, straight into a ginget as well. If he manages to keep in line, stay on the bar, he could definitely be up there. I'm going to put Daiki Hashimoto in number 2. He's been at the top of the high bar leaderboard many times, but this time around I've put Chai Hong Tang in the first spot just because of how consistent. So this guy's got plenty of crazy connections and finishing with a triple back, and probably one of the only Wallstroms we'll see at this World Champs. Hopefully we'll see more, but just so consistent with the world's hardest routine. I'm going to have to give it to him. And there we go. That rounds out my podium predictions. Let me know in the comments below what changes you would make, who you would put where, or go to my website link down below, put your predictions in. And I think it might be a quick time that we could quickly go over what people have put in already. I'm actually gonna redo this because look how many submissions we got. Since I recorded that, I've been on YouTube reductions and I've been posting this on my stories and stuff. So crazy to have that many submissions, but for all around, Daiki is the clear winner. Zhang and Oka right behind. Floor at the moment, everyone's got Carlos, Luke and Jake at the top. Carlos by a wide margin. Pommel, Krabanov and Manukin. So those are my top 2 as well, and they've got the same amount of golds. Krabanov's just got more silvers. Rings, that was my top spot as well. Vaults, Jake's up there. Parallel bars, wow, definitely the most dominant one. 51 out of 68 people said Zoe is definitely going to win that. And then high bar, Daiki just beating Chai-On-Tang at the moment. Crazy. Thanks so much for the support on the first video. I really want to go hard in this little niche that we've got going on here, and I believe we need way more like just presence online in general and places for people to catch up on men's gymnastics, because that's the only way that I can see the sport growing. So I appreciate your support so much. Subscribe, like the video if you want to support more, and yeah, we'll see you soon.